All right, so the general formula for a prism is this. Capital B, capital H. All right, capital B stands for area of the base. Capital H stands for the height of the prism. All right, capital B stands for the area of the base. Capital H stands for the height of the prism. Now, the bases can change. It can be a triangle, it can be a rectangle, it can be a square, it can be a trapezoid, it can be a circle. That's why kids have so much trouble understanding volume. All right? Because there's so many different shapes. And then we even have composite shapes, which are examples down here, right? 15, 16, 17. Those are just shapes. All right. Now, we also have nets that we're going to talk about, right? Where sometimes on the ERBs, they just lay it out there and say, what's the volume of that shape? And you're like, I don't even know what that is. How am I supposed to know what the volume is? I'll try to show you today how you can figure that out. All right. So we're going to come back up here. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like everyone to tell me the volume formula. All right. The volume formula. Now, because this is a rectangle, all right, the base is a rectangle. The base is a rectangle. All right. So how do I find the area of a rectangle? Multiply. That's right. Now, what we normally do is we say it's length times width. That's the area of the base. And it's always the area of the base times the height. And then we can just say LWH. So that's the formula for a rectangular prism. So after you write that formula, underneath it, you're going to write V equals. What's the length, what's the width, and what's the height? Help me, guys. Come on. Nope. 7 times 4 times what? Times 11. That's correct. So now take out your handy dandy calculators. And hopefully you come up with volume is equal to 308. Now, 308 what? Cubic feet. All right. Now, I did ask somebody last class, why is it cubic feet? All right. Because you're measuring what? What are we measuring when we measure volume? How many cubes can go in a room? That's better. I like that a lot. But we're measuring the space that's in the room. That's what we're measuring. Now, again, just because some kids didn't know this last class, I'm gonna go ahead and do it with you guys. All right. You don't have to draw it. You can just pay attention. This, I'm gonna say maybe is close to like 1 inch. That measures what? Distance. All right. A single unit measures distance. All right. Then we have area. What do we measure area with? We measure area with what? Squares. All right. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to draw this so you can visually see what's the difference here. All right. So this right here would be considered what? What is that? A square inch. That's exactly right. This is 1 inch. This is 1 inch. So this is 1 square inch. Is everybody good with that? All right. That's what you measure surface with, like your desktop there. You measure that in squares. All right. Then the next thing is we measure space. And space is measured with what? Cubes. All right. Space is measured with cubes. So let me draw that for you. All right, here we go. This is what I'm talking about for cubes. All right. Again, please don't daydream. Look up here on the board. You don't have to draw it. I'm not asking you to draw. I'm asking you to just observe. That represents a what?
Square, inch cube.
A cubic inch. There you go. This is 1 inch. This is 1 inch. And this is 1 inch. So this is 1 cubic inch. All right, that's what you're measuring. All right, now I want to go back. How to take that with you if you want. I want to go back to what we just measured, 308 cubic feet. What does that mean? That means there are 308 what?
Cubes inside.
Yeah, there's like, now the problem is it doesn't look like there's 308 because my picture's not drawn to scale properly. Is everybody with me? But if I shrunk this down enough, all right, we might be able to say, okay, I can imagine there's 308 in there. Does everybody agree with that? Right, and if I drew the three-dimensional shape, you could actually even see the cubes. All right, but for now, all right, you're just gonna have to see it. Does everybody understand what we're measuring? Cubes, the space inside. All right, that's what you're doing. All right, anybody have any questions? All right. Now, what's the next shape called? It's called a triangular prism because the base is a what? The base is a triangle. Now, some of my kids last class said the base was a rectangle. Please look up and make sure you can understand the base is not a rectangle. The base is not what it sits on. Does everybody agree? This down here, right here, this is not the base. Do we agree? The base are what sides are parallel to each other that are exactly the same shape. So when I'm looking at this right here, this right here is a triangle. Does everybody agree? And that triangle is the same as this triangle over here. Does everybody agree? That's why it's called a triangular prism. All right, now, does anybody remember the formula for area of a triangle?
Yeah.
What is the area of a triangle? Yes, you are great. Well, that's the volume. You are perfect on that. I appreciate that. But I asked for the area of a triangle. Zach said it perfectly. 1/2 base times height. That's the area of a triangle, right? Now, this again, everybody's going to write down this is a triangular prism. And then the volume, Gage said it perfectly. 1/2 length times width times height. All right, that's perfect. Now, someone has said, which I totally agree, this is just half, the triangular prism is just half of a what? Rectangular prism. That's how I remembered it. All right, that's half a rectangle. So again, everybody writes down V equals 1/2 LWH, and then I want everybody to put down 1/2. What's the length?
40.
Actually, 41 is considered the what? Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No, but I really want everybody to know that 41 represents the height. Now, why is it the height? Because it's the distance between the two bases. It's the distance between the two bases. Now, does the length and the width matter? No. And then, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter at all? No, because you're just multiplying those numbers together. You're multiplying 1/2 times 26 times 28 times 41. So does it really matter what order you multiply?
No.
No. So tell me what the answer is. Everybody's got their calculator out. Sebastian, 14,924 what? Yes. There are 14,924 cubes in that shape. That's what that means. All right. Anybody have any questions? All right, now let's look at the next shape. The next shape is called a what? Wow, I wish they would have stayed consistent. If I was naming this, I would call this a what? Circular what? I would call it a circular prism. But, all right, it's special because prisms have what? Sides. Is this a side? There are no sides, all right, for a circular cylinder. All right, so this shape is called a cylinder. So everybody's going to write down cylinder. And based off of my definition, Volume is base times height. Can anybody tell me what the formula for volume of a cylinder is?
Length times width.
There is no length and there is no width. Go.
No.
Come on. Area of the base times height. Area of the base. What is the base shape? So what's the formula for area of a circle? Come on, somebody, you guys, come on. Uh-oh, here we go. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Pi times the radius. Or the diameter.
That's the circumference. What's area of a circle? Pi r. Now, you know how I remembered it? Measure area with squares. So area of a circle is pi r squared. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times h. That's the volume. What? The volume formula for a cylinder is pi r squared h. So now V equals pi. What's the radius? 1.5 squared. What's the height? 9. Perfect. So everybody type in that on your calculator. Pi times 1.5 squared times 9.
Do you want to see the whole
No, pi on your calculator, rounded to 3 decimal places. Sebastian, what did you get?
617.
Did anybody else get 63.617? And units is what? Inches cubed. That's exactly correct. All right. Everybody's good with that, right? Anybody have any issues? All right, now the next ones, 4, 5, and 6 are kind of the same. Do we agree? What's the matter? All right, so we're going to go back. All right, now we're going to come to question number 7. Everybody put a star by number 7. All right, when they're laid out like this is called the net. In other words, they broke this shape down. What did they break down here, guys? What is that shape called if I were to put it together? That would be called a cylinder. That's correct. A cylinder is made up of a rectangle and a what? And 2 circles. That's exactly right. So, shape. This is a cylinder. And we already know what the formula for volume is again. So let's try to remember it without looking back. What is it?
Pi times radius to the second power times height.
Yes, perfect. Everybody's writing down V equals pi r squared h. Pi r squared h. Now, I need everybody to look at this carefully and tell me what the radius is. Someone be brave. What's the radius? Titus. 2. Thank you, sir. It is 2 because 4 represents the what? Diameter. Thank you. What's the height? 10. That is correct. Don't forget to square it. Yes. Tell me the answer, kiddo.
125.
Say it again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
125.
125.
0.663.
Anybody else get 0.663? And what kind of units are we dealing with? Centimeters cubed.
So it wouldn't be centimeters squared because it's not.
Oh, we're not measuring this. We're measuring what's inside that shape if I put it together. Do you hear me? You know what I'm saying? What?
Radius for this is 2. On question 3, why would the radius be 1.5? It's on half of the half. But but the radius is half of the diameter.
Exactly. That's drawn as the radius. You with me? If it was this, it would be 1.5 is the diameter. Okay? All right, I'm happy with that. All right, so let's go back. Okay, so let's see if we can talk about number 11. All right, now, this someone actually thought it was tilted, but is it really tilted at all, or is it just hard drawing the 3D shape? Yeah, it's hard drawing the 3D shape. So what's this shape called? Yep, so everybody put down rectangular prism. And then what I want you to do is tell me what's the formula for volume. Yep, length times width times height. All right, and what are the three dimensions here? 39 and 19. 39 and 19. Now, I understand some of your concerns here. This 30 is kind of like in the way, but I think I should have moved it closer to here so you can see it better. Does everybody agree with me? Right, that's what some people are asking me. But does it really matter the order in which you multiply? No, it does not. So somebody help me with 30 times 9 times 19.
1,130 millimeters squared.
Millimeters cubed. That is correct. All right. Everybody's good with that? Anybody have any issues? All right. Now, can anybody tell me what number 13 is? Yeah, it is a rectangular prism, except the base is not a rectangle anymore. It's a what? Yeah, so if you wanted to, you could say square prism, but do I really care? No, but does everybody understand this shape right here is a square? Right? So if you wanted to put a square prism, I'm okay with that. If you put a rectangular prism, I'm okay with that also. But I'm trying to make sure everybody understands the base is a square because it's got 3 and a 3. Everybody with me on that? All right, so no one. Come on now. Everybody's looking at 14. Come on now. What is that shape? Wow, very smart. That's exactly right. So we don't call it a trapezoid, we call it a what kind of prism? Stop. You just said the answer. Now you're changing it from rectangle to or from trapezoid to rectangle. What is the base shape again? Trapezoid. So we call it a what kind of prism? Trapezoidal prism. That's not that hard. Trapezoidal prism. Trapezoidal prism. All right. Now, the trapezoid, let's come up here. The trapezoid formula is half the height times base 1 plus base 2.
Why'd you put B for?
All right. Now, over here, guys, this is the trapezoid. Just give me a chance. Let me help you. No, just give me a second. I will. This right here, I want everybody to understand, is the trapezoid. Is everybody with me so far? That's the trapezoid. Now, on the trapezoid, there are two parallel sides. This is parallel and that's parallel. Do we agree with that? The two parallel sides are the bases. So this could be considered base 1. This could be considered base 2. And then, hold up, I'm going to fix that real quick.
Can they flip flop?
Does it matter? What one do you call base 1 and base 2? No. This is considered base 1. This one down here could be considered base 2. And then what the arrow is pointing to is the what? The height. Thank you. This is the height of the what? Trapezoid. 22, this distance from here to here represents what? No. Very good. It represents the height of the prism. Now, notice some people are confused why that's a height. Is it sitting on its base? No, it's not sitting on the base. The base is not a rectangle. The base is not a rectangle. The base is a what shape? Trapezoid. All right. So the volume, watch me do the formula. Volume equals 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2 times capital H. And of course, everyone asked me, what's the difference between capital H and lowercase h? Capital H is the height of the prism. Lowercase h is the height of the trapezoid. That is correct. All right. So now everybody take a look at those numbers.
Wait, capital H is prism and lowercase is prism.
Yes. So when you're looking at this now, I need the formula to be, the numbers to be plugged in. So V equals 1/2. What's the height of the prism?
What, 10?
10. What are the two bases?
8.
8 and 12. Thank you. And the height is what? There you have it.
Maybe 8. That's B2.
Does it matter if you do 12 plus 8? No, it makes no difference. All right, so now calculate that volume for me real quick. What is it?
I got 2200
Wow. 2200 what though?
centimeters cubed.
Very nice. 2200 centimeters cubed. Anybody got issues with that? Remember, you have your calculator. You look the information up. You use your own calculator. Anybody have any issues? Yes, sir. Well, that's because you may not have typed it in correctly.
Well, they did it all at the same time.
1/2 is what? 0.5, right? So let's go 0.5 times 10. Now in my head, I didn't use the parentheses. I just did 8 plus 12, which is 20. So I did 1/2 times 10 times 20 times 22. You with me? All right. Anybody have any questions with that? Anybody have any questions? All right, now let's look at, wow, number 15. Does anybody agree that's just two shapes stacked on top of each other,
Yeah.
right? So what are the two shapes though? Right, so the shape is a triangular prism plus a what?
Rectangular prism.
Rectangular prism. That's correct. Now, let's look at the triangular prism. So volume equals 1/2
Wait,
Length.
which one's
times width times height plus length times width times height. Is everybody with me on this? Length times width times height plus length times width times height. Now, are length and width and height necessarily the same?
the-
No. So I would like everyone to start out with the triangular prism. To me, sometimes it was easier for me if I highlighted what I was looking at. I'm looking at this right here. Does everybody agree? So what numbers am I using for that triangular prism?
32,
8,
29.
20, 38.
Yeah, because this right here is 20 and this right here is 32. Very good. So that's 1/2 times 20 times 32 times what? 8. Now we're doing the bottom one. What three numbers involved in the bottom?
Like times width times height.
20, 10. Add that up for me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Anybody else get that?
Yeah.
No.
Anybody have any issues? Go ahead. Uh-oh, we got a big difference
I
here.
got 14,080.
Wow.
8,900.
About 8,900.
All right, you guys are killing me now. Everybody take out your calculator. We all should get the same answer because we all wrote down the formula. Now, sometimes I like to save some time. A half, instead of typing in the fraction 1/2, I just type in what? Yeah, 0.5 times 20 times 32 times 8 plus 20 times 10 times 32. Come on, that's embarrassing. You can't type that in on a calculator. We should have one answer. Is that correct? 8,960. Anybody still not getting 8,960?
Wait, for the rectangular prism, it's just length times width times height.
Right. You okay with that? All right. 8,960. Anybody have any issues? Going once? All right, now what I want to do is flip down. Look at this shape right here. Someone tell me what this shape is made up of.
That would
Air
be
pods.
syntax.
A what? A cylinder and a what?
Rectangle.
And a what? There's no rectangle.
Rectangle.
There's no, okay. Now, for those of you guys who are having trouble, look real carefully. And I do understand what you're saying. Please listen for a second. This is the top half of a what? Cylinder. Does everybody agree with this? That's the top half of the cylinder. Then there's a bottom half of the cylinder. So two halves make a what? A whole. So I want everyone to write down, all right, that is a cylinder. Cylinder. Plus a what? Rectangular prism. All right. Now this 2.5, what does that represent of the cylinder?
I mean, the diameter.
That's the diameter. All right. What time's the bell ring? All right, let me see what time it is.
It's 1:18.
All right, so you guys got 7 minutes now to knock this out. All right, I want everybody to try 16 and 17. Those are the tricky ones.
Is that
All
one?
right, but try. All problems are homework. All right, you're welcome. All right, you got 7 minutes. Get to work. I want the name of the shape. I want the formula. All right, write out, then type in the numbers. Then after you type in the numbers, you can use your calculator. All right,
No.
you're welcome.